Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Well, we're finally here, my top 10 games of all time. So I actually recorded a video before for this. I'm having problems with iMovie and iPhone. I had edited everything, and it was supposed to come out earlier this week, but those problems kept persisting, so I had to record a whole new video. So that's why this video is a little bit late. So this is my top 10 games of all time. Finally here. I'm freaking exhausted. I'm tired of shit, but we're gonna soldier through. So my number 10 game of all time is a area control game by Eric Lang that takes place in Japan, and this is right over here, Rising Sun. So if you're not familiar with Rising Sun, this is an area control game where you have these monsters and stuff, but there's an interesting bidding system and when you're attacking other players, so you can like commit seppuku or take other players hostage and stuff. It's really interesting what this game does, and it's unique. Of course, when it comes to the combat, also like I believe it's whoever has area majority, all the other pieces are removed, and then yours are there. But what I like about Rising Sun is also has this unique like team system. Like, so each round you'll be teamed up. You could be teamed up with another player. You can't fight against them and stuff. But yeah, the reason why it's my number 10 is the game still holds up. I truly find it to be excellent. That is number 10, Rising Sun. Number 9 is new to this list. I played the game last year at a game convention. I didn't back it. And when I first started playing this game, I was actually happy I didn't back it, because I had no idea what the hell was going on. The rules were very convoluted. There's a lot of crap going on in the game. It's an area control game mixed with some deck building, so that's right up my alley. But I remember for the first few rounds, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. But then, as we started playing a little bit more, I started getting the hang of it. I started falling in love with it, and this is Scarface 1920. Now, usually I put the image of the game up there. Again, like I said, I'm sorry, I'm having problems with with iMovie, but yeah, this game is Scarface 1920. So you choose one of the 4 or 5 different gangs that are available, and each of them has a mob boss that has a special power. And again, you're buying different cards and adding them to your deck, playing the cards. You're building brothels, casinos, adding a little bit of combat. You're trying not to have the cops on you too much. If the Elliot Nash symbol goes down up too much, then you're in a ton of shit. But yeah, no, it's a great area control game. I know there's a big expansion coming out this year. I was supposed to get the game about 2 months ago, but there's been some problems with shipment. So I'll be getting it in about a month. And there's a new expansion coming out at the end of the year. So looking forward to that. So that is my number 9, Scarface 1920. My number 8 is a game by Cole Worley that I just played not too long ago. It is a hand management war game that I find to be fantastic. This is right here. This is Pax Pamir. So Pax Pamir is a game that takes place in Afghanistan in I believe it was the 1700s. I forgot, but so essentially you're forming an alliance with one of the 3 different countries. So there's Afghan, there's Russian, and then there's the British. Now, other players who are aligned with that country, you cannot attack. So it's interesting in the way everything folds out. So you have this hand of cards, which is your court, and you're usually doing the actions on those cards. So you can like build bridges, build an army of that for that particular country, and then you're setting up your tribes there. The game could be played pretty quickly if everyone knows what they're doing, but also could be pretty long the first time. It's one of those type of games that it's streamlined, but there's little things that you can miss. But it's a fantastic game. It is one of my favorites. Again, Cole Worley knocks it out of the park. Everything he comes out with. That's why number 8 is Pax Pamir. So number 7 dropped a little bit for me. And the reason it dropped was because it's very hard to table. It is rules heavy, but like PAX Premier, it is streamlined, but there's a ton of stuff that you can easily miss. So this is from the same designer as PAX Premier from Whirly. This is right over here. This is John Company 2nd Edition, a fantastic game about running the East Indian Trading Company. So you and all other players are running this business together, but you're looking out for your own self-interest. So each round, somebody is going to have a job. So like one could be the president of the company, one could be in control of military, and so on. Different aspects of the company. And what you're trying to do is having your family members retire with the best benefits. I know it sounds like a lot because it is. And the first line in that rule book is, this game is not for everyone. And it really isn't. But I think it is one of the most fantastic games out there. It has potential to be my number 1 if it was tabled more. You know, it's not a game you can just be, hey, you want to play this? Let's, sit down and learn it real quick. No, you have to dedicate at least a few hours in the day to teach this game to people. But when everybody is on board, you could probably get a game out in like 2 hours or so. And there's different scenarios, and each scenario plays a little bit different. But yeah, it is not only a good time, it is an experience I think everybody should check out. Again, it's not going to be for everyone, but you should at least try this game once, because I feel that it is an experience that everyone should at least check out at least once. You might like it, you might love it, you might despise it. Again, the theme could be a little sensitive with the East Indian Train Companies and stuff, what you're doing, but at the end of the day, it's just a game, and a fantastic game at that. And that's why it is my number 7 of all time. That is John Company 2nd Edition. My number 6 is another area control game. This one takes place in ancient Egypt. I'm actually having some trouble here getting it, but this is another game by Eric Lang, and that is Ankh. So Ankh is an area control game set in ancient Egypt, and you're controlling these gods that each have special powers, and you have their own little army. You're trying to build monuments and stuff, but there's been a problem with some people, I guess, and I can understand why. So there's this weird catch-up system that the last 2 players who are in last place can merge together and become even more powerful than everybody else. I haven't had a problem with it. But I can see why people do. So, but it also makes a fantastic 2-player game. Again, it's very simple. Any area control game by Eric Lang is going to be super simple, but there's a lot of depth and strategy to them. And Ankh is just, another one of those. And it's a reason why it's so high up on my list. I have a blast every time I play it. I don't see it that much at conventions. It's a little bit of a kind of a shame, but what are you going to do? But it is my number 6 of all time. It could drop next year. There are better area control games out there, but for now, it is in my top 10. Number 5 is probably the last Eric Lang game right over here. Another area control game called Blood Rage. So Blood Rage is almost 10 years old, if not 10 years old already, and it is still fantastic. I think it is one of the best area control games out there, if not the best, only because of how simple it is to play and how much depth it has. So in Blood Rage, you are drafting cards at the beginning of every round, and of course these cards can give you special powers, special monsters. They're used for attack, but you also get glory points for having your soldiers, your Vikings, die in Ragnarok. So at the end of each round, a specific land is going to be destroyed, and whatever soldiers you have in there are going to be killed, sent to Valhalla, and you're going to get glory points for it. So it's an interesting mechanism there. But it doesn't take too long either. I've played a 3-player game in about 45 minutes. I do think 4 players is the best, because I do like chaos in my games. And I don't want to say essentially this is like a chaotic game, but there is, a lot of in your face, like any other, like an area control game should be. But yeah, Blood Rage still a fantastic game. It is my number five. It deserves to be at number five, and I think it's gonna be in my top 10 probably for a while. If well, we'll see. But yeah, number five, that is Blood Rage. So number four is another game by Cole Worley, the great Cole Worley. And this is a game that is, again, it's a little difficult to table because of the asymmetric factions that come with the game. It's a war game. But some people look at the cover and they think that it's a kiddie game, and it's not. And this game is, figured it out already. It is Root. This is the newest expansion that just came out. It also has a two-player mode in it. So Root, like I said before, is a war game, and you have these like fuzzy creatures fighting over the forest and shit, and but they all have these asymmetric powers, and they all play differently, which is why it's a hard game to table and teach. But luckily, there's a fantastic app out there for the for phone, Nintendo Switch, and it's also on Steam that helps you play the game and teaches you about the game. So if you're not interested in playing the board game, you can actually download the video game or the app itself and play it on there. And the app is just as good as the board game. And I just find this game to be fantastic because one, it does play quick. And two, it's unique in what it does. Every single faction is different. You have like the crows who are like they place like secret like things around the map. Like one could be a bomb, one could be beneficial, but your opponent doesn't know. Or you have like one faction that does guerrilla warfare, and I think the hardest faction to play was the birds. I wasn't a fan, but they can be one of the strongest. So, as you can see, every single faction is different, and you want to try every single one. The game makes you. But, yeah, it really is a fantastic game that I wish more people... It's still very popular, but really give it a chance. It's not for kids. The box says 10 and up. This is not a kid's game by far. But if you haven't played it, definitely give it a chance. Play the app first, and then play the board game. I mean, I would always prefer the board game over the app anytime. But yeah, my number four is Root. My third game, my number three of all time, is the last Cole Worley game. And this game has potential to be number one. It is also another one that's very hard to table. And that game is Oath. So Oath is a game that I say it to people before I even recommend it. You're either going to fall in love with this game or you're going to despise it. And that's because it's not really a hard game. It's not too rules heavy. I think Root is a lot harder. The thing with Oath is it's an area control game, but every game is going to be different. They recommend you play with the same people every game because the way it starts off is one person plays as a chancellor that rules the kingdom, and everybody else is exiles. And you could side with the chancellor in the game, or you can go against and fight everybody else. And the person who wins is going to be the chancellor the next game, and then the map changes, the world changes, the cards change, and then the objectives change for each game. So it's a fantastic game. It has potential to be my number one if it was tabled more and you have a dedicated group. But it's number three because I've always thought about this game, and when I played it, it was one of the best experiences I have ever had playing. Again, simple combat, dice chucker, but the experience of it is what rates it so high in my list. So that's number three, Oath. Number two jumped out of nowhere. I got this game. This is new to the list. I got this game last year on Kickstarter, and I played it at a convention here in New York. And when I played it, it blew me away. This is actually a Euro game. And the first thing I thought was, I always thought it looked cool. All right, it's a Euro, but I didn't think there was going to be much player interaction. This can be a very mean game. This game is right over here on my shoulder, and that is Vindication. So Vindication is what some people might consider a cube pusher. So you play as a character, or they call him a scumbag. I can't tell you how many times I've been called that in my life, but yeah. So they're on this map, and every game is going to be different because the map is going to change. So you're trying to pretty much vindicate yourself, and you're fighting monsters, but there's also special powers that can make you attack other players and steal their stuff. So there is a lot of interaction. It's one of those games that the replayability is just so high, and that's why it is high on my list. And it's just an incredible game. Also, I love that you can play this game in 45 minutes, and there's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of strategy, because as the game progresses, there's more end game stuff that's coming out. So it speeds the game up. Really, truly a fantastic game. Vindication. I wish it was. It could be. It could be my number one day, but because it is an easy game to table. Setup could be a pain. I have all the expansions for it too. I haven't tried them out yet, but yeah, I couldn't believe how good this game was when I played it, and that's why it is my number 2 of all time, Vindication. My number 1, I don't have it on me because it's stuck in the closet, but it's my same as last year, and that's Dune Imperium. So Dune Imperium is a fantastic worker placement deck building game, based off the present movie, which I've actually come around to like. I didn't like it last year, 2 years ago when I watched it. I thought it was kind of boring. And then I rewatched the movie, and I actually enjoyed it a lot, because I remember the original one. I watched the original one from '84 when I was a kid. I thought it sucked, and it still sucks to this day. But back to the game, Dune's killing it right now. They making a bunch of games, toys, whatever is coming out. But Dune Imperium, I think, is the best game out there right now because of how tense it is. It's the first player to 10 points. You're again sending your worker out, collecting resources, sending people to the battleground in the middle of the map, and you're moving up on different factions. The expansions add a ton of great content. I played the X expansion and just made it better. I have to try the newest one that came out. I haven't gotten to it yet. I really want to try Uprising. I heard that Uprising makes more combat, more in your face, which is what I like. But the game is tense already as it is. Every game I have played has been close, and that's the kind of experience I want when I'm playing with friends and stuff. And that's why Dune Imperium is my number 1. Well, the list is finally done. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like, subscribe, help this little channel grow. This little channel grows, I could get better equipment so that I don't have to make my videos look like this, but it'll do for now. So now that the list is over, we can get back to reviewing games. There's a bunch of games I need to review that are coming. Sale. I have Apiary review coming soon, and also we have Feudum coming in a few months. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. If we have any games in common, feel free to leave them in the comments. But thanks again for watching, guys. Keep playing.